Okay.
So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome everyone. Hope all of you are safe and having great time with your family, um, especially during this lockdown period and of course Ramadan. So, thank you for joining us for today's online supply chain talk. It is very first time, we organizing it online, and before that, we used to have this kind of talk in our training center, which is in Karachi, and we used to have one talk a month, every month. So before we move on, let me introduce myself formally. My name is Anwaar Nizami, and I'm Vice President of SCAP. I also work for a logistics company. It's called Hellmann Worldwide Logistics as Director of Operations over there. So thanks to Google Form, we have 100 plus participants for this course. But let me introduce you this SCAP first. So, Supply Chain Association of Pakistan is an association has been formed by industry professionals like Qaysar Alam, Numan Lutfi, and Kamran Mumtaz from IBA, and Yunus from right now he's worked for TCS. So, and the basic purpose to form this body, just to make sure that we create awareness about supply chain and also bridge gap between academia and industry. And most importantly, we wanted to give a kind of networking opportunities supply chain community overall, so that they can socialize, they can attend meetings and conferences and seminars and workshops and other activities. So if you'd like to know more about SCAP, you can log in on www.scap.tk, and I would request you to become a member of SCAP and just to be part of this whole process. And we will soon announce more learning opportunities in future, inshallah. So today's topic of talk is steering the supply chain in the rough sea, which has been designed specifically to understand and meet the challenges of pandemic COVID-19, which you all know that it has shocked both supply and demand side together. So it will be presented by Mr. Qaysar Alam, who is ex-VP Supply Chain Unilever Pakistan, as well as he is President of SCAP and also recently being Chairman of Board of Directors of Al Shahir Corporation. So he is supply chain guru, trainer, coach, and of course, the great human being. Just a little housekeeping instruction for all of you. So before we get started, actually, by default, your mics and video cameras are disabled. So please do not turn it on during this session, as it may disrupt the flow of talk, and also it may hurt your reception as well. So, and please, if you have any question during this presentation, please type them into the question box in your Zoom control panel. I'll bring them up during the session, and we will also have time for question and answer at the end, inshallah. Just in case, due to the time constraint, if the speaker could not answer the questions, as already I've mentioned in my email, we have planned to share Q&A document in few days with all of you via email. So no worries in this regard. Now, without further delay, I will turn the time over to Mr. Qaysar Alam. But just a quick, just in case if Qaysar Alam goes offline due to any technical reason, so please hang on for 5-10 minutes. He'll come back using the alternative technology, inshallah. So, sir, please, over to you.
Hello, everyone, and assalamu alaikum. Hope you're all doing well. And we all are going through the same situation. There's a lockdown. And we can very well understand what lockdown brings to our own life. This frustration, uncertainty, ambiguity. And but we need to keep ourselves motivated as well, and we have to learn how to self-motivate, because this is important to continue our journey in this world. So take care of yourself, your family, the people around you, and also your businesses and your company. This is the time to test your leadership, because leadership is tested in difficult time. So this is a difficult time, and you should learn how to manage things effectively in this time. So based on the discussion, what just Anwar just said to you, um, it came into my mind that everybody is going through the same problem, same issue globally, not only in Pakistan. So why not to talk on our business related to that environment? So the name I suggested is steering your supply chain in a rough sea. You see, when you steer your ship in a rough sea, what happens? A lot of uncertainty, sometimes hopelessness, fear, difficulty, and then even then you drive, then you take your ship out of that storm. So the same goes with supply chain. When there's a difficult time we are going through, so we have to do the same thing like we do with our ship when it's in a rough sea. So you can see this global impact of this coronavirus, and this is creating an uncertain future. We all know why I'm saying uncertain future. I'll just speak about that. So as a supply chain professional and leaders, we need to act smartly. We have to act smartly. The word smartly is very important. And then effectively towards the profitable growth. You see, there are a lot of uncertainty here. Why I say uncertainty? Look what is happening with the airlines. Look happening with the hotel business, restaurant business, and oil businesses. In airline, I just read about Warren Buffett. He actually owned 10% share of 4 big airlines in America. He just offloaded all the shares. What it reflects? The future of airlines are a bit bleak right now. So it's uncertain. We can't say it's like that, but it will be like that. Same goes with oil. What is happening with oil, you all know. You see, this deep shale oil, the break-even is $45, and traditional oil is $25. So just imagine if you're selling your oil for $15, what happens? Even if it crossed 25 and 30, what happens to deep shale oil, which most in USA? What happened to those companies already in the business, and they have must have taken loans because the way company works from the banks for their projects? What might have gone to that, and how it is going to impact your banks with a lot of bankruptcies filed? So this is all happening, and it's a bit uncertain world. So as a supply chain leaders, let's explore to understand it better. What I will do, I will relate our supply chain area to this crisis. And obviously in half an hour, we can't go in detail to all of that, but I will just touch base with few critical points and their countermeasures briefly. And then you can have some question answer as Anwar has explained to you, and we will try to answer your questions. So see, some key area of focus. So demand variability, very, very obvious to all of you. Why? It's a lack of clarity. Many times you don't know the timings of your markets, which is opening, which is not opening, where you keep the stock, which factory run at what times. Is all going through that. And in such when there is a clarity issue, what happens? The human nature, hoarding. In the pipeline, your distributors, your wholesalers, your intermediate you can suppliers, they start hoarding the product to make more profit. It's not in Pakistan only, it's all over the world. What happens to mask? 5 rupees mask was selling for 60 rupees. Look at the sanitizers. And these are the things because of hoarding. Sometimes shortages, and then you create an artificial shortages to make money. So this is again, demand variability will affect because of that, because hoarding will create a demand which is not a real demand. Then pipeline, from your raw material manufacturing up to the retail, the whole pipeline will be unstable. You don't know, because trucks availability was an issue, and still they are trying to fix that issue. So pipeline will be not in your total control. And most importantly, the charity organization. The people going charity, and there are many big organizations that are doing it. Government charity is going on. So there's a big buying in particular area. So this is not permanent sort of thing. When it is a buying, is a shortage of materials. Once it is done, you don't have that much demand. So these 4, 5, there may be few more factors that are affecting your demand planning. So your demand planner should be on their toes. You have to see other factors. In normal days, they were going through that planning. Now they have to see other factors also. These are the factors you just highlighted. Second most important is consumer behavior. In such situation, your consumer behave differently. You know, what is the psyche? If I just tell you, if you go to a shop and try to buy a piece of, say, soap, that soap is not available. You go to the second shop, not available. Third, not available. Fourth, fifth. Go to the sixth shop. You only wanted to one buy shop, but in sixth shop, when you go and you see there are 7, 8 soap pieces of soaps lying, what you will do? You will buy most of them. Why? Your fear of unavailability in future. That's the human psyche. Same thing happening now. People go to the shop, they don't know it's available because stocks position is varying in the shops. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there. My personal experience, I go to buy a yogurt, sometimes Nestle yogurt. Their supply chain is very good, but sometimes some variant is available, sometimes totally off. Nothing is there. A whole shelf is empty. So once it's there, instead of buying one, I will buy Y3 and 4. Same thing happening with the consumers. So consumers are stocking. That again create a false signal. And buying capacity will affect that. Everybody can't make stocks because you need to have buying power with you. So different class of consumers will behave differently. The well-off, rich people, they will definitely make stocks, but low-income consumer will not be able to do that. So they will not do that. So buying pattern will change. So in areas where people with big pocket lives, you will find the stocking more, and people where you have a low income groups, your stocking will be less and less visible there. So it may give you a wrong signal that why the demand is high. No, it's not high. It's just stocking by the people. So you have to be careful about that, because when things settles, the demand will be not like that, and the signals takes time. So you start making it, and by the time it reaches you and the demand settle down, what you will do with your inventory. So that's important as well. Next comes unexpected business pressure. Quite obvious. In this scenario, just I said, all over the world, including Pakistan, you are not talking about growth. You are talking about shortfall. Languages change because everybody is looking at the shortfalls. So you have to manage that. And there's a top line and bottom line. When there is low sales, your profitability targets also affected. And then cash flow will be affected because payments will be affected. A lot of payments, promises will be, they will not meeting the promises, and then you will not getting the money on time, then cash flow will be affected because company works on cash flow, managing cash flow. This much will come, this will go. But when the coming is promised, but it's not coming in, this cash flow is affected. So all these things make your overall efficiency of the business, affect the efficiency of the business. So then when business in this pressure, the whole environment changes and your way of working changes as well. We'll talk about that. And an external, internal environment. What is happening since this lockdown has come? Government agencies, we're getting different signals. Okay, open it up, close it down, open it till 5, no, up to 3, open it for 1 hour. So these things are affecting your way of working, your performances. Clarity is not there. And safety, security is also an issue. You see, in different times, different things have an impact. Like, there was time when the security was issue, say 7, 8 years back. So the lot of focus of the company was on security. You will see at the time, security business was growing very fast. Guards and all that. You can see all offices had some guards and banks and shops, houses. It was not the practice 20 years back, but the environment changed that. Similarly, now the environment is changing. So you will see a different type of safety and security. It is again pandemic. Like SOPs are coming in for businesses and manufacturing. You have to follow that SOP, and following that SOP is again affecting your way of working. Because if you don't follow, secondly, this will be against the government law and whatever they are agreeing to that. And also with your own people. If you don't follow that, what will happen? You you will affecting the life, endangering the life of your own workforce. So that external internal environment is an also important factor. I have grouped all those key areas in four, you can say, categories. So now the countermeasure. We will talk about that. What we need to do. These are the issues. These issues are not going to go soon. So what we are going to do now to tackle that and run our business. So demand needs to be very carefully assessed, as I earlier said, because signals are not very clear and ambiguous also in some time. So our assessment process should be very, very, very careful. What, when, where. See, getting a few things I tell you. When there is a stress, you are in stress, you will not eat ice cream, but definitely you will eat your bread or rice, because that become essential for you. Ice cream is not an essential thing. So you demand, the guy who was making a demand assessment, he should know all these factors, how things will be affecting your brands. There will be this false signals that I explained earlier, will be a lot of bullwhip effect, and as already I've explained in my earlier slides. And when there is uncertainty, you have to look at your inventory also, because in normal days we try to cut down our inventory as much as possible, because inventory is a dead money. If you can do with less, why should you do with more? So that's the inventory. But in such situation, you need to build up some stocks, because there are uncertainty. I just explained what are the uncertainty nowadays. So it's no harm having this. This is a cost, but also there is a payback for that. Then, if you have higher inventory, then you need to have buffer storage capacity as well in the factories, um, between factory on retails and other places. And then you have to think of a new way of working. When there was a tsunami in Japan some time back, so that focus factory concept was a question mark, and a lot of debate in supply chain circle happened. That there is one factory and all suppliers are surrounding that, and when there is some tsunami, you don't have the supplier, it's damaged, everything's damaged. At that time, if you ordered your city car, it was taking a lot of time because of this supply issue. So having one supplier always in cost effective, but in such situation, it's also a risk. So you have to work out a balance between that risk and the cost. If your risk is high, so you have to forego that cost efficiency at the moment, and have more than one supplier. So if one supplier is affected because of this pandemic, so other is available to you. So these sort of things have to be done. You have new ways of working. You have to adopt according to your own businesses, because different businesses have different challenges. Similarly, LTL versus FTL. You see, full truckload is a norm. You always try to send full truckload because it's cost effective. But in such situation, we can go for partial truckload also. Because your consumers are more important, your market is more important, your market share is more important. Sometimes you have a trade-off between your market share and your cost efficiency. In such situation, you have to do that for your long-term objective, because you're not in the business for 2 days, for a month or so. So years you have to be there. So it's a smaller time where you have to make some rearrangements, and then you do the things in future. If you don't lose your market share, then you can fix the issues with the passage of time. But if you lose your market share because of your cost efficiency here, it will become more expensive to get back your market share. Always remember, getting market share is 5 times more expensive after losing that market. Always remember that. And then go for pooling also, sharing your truckloads, sharing other things, and also more and more collaboration. When collaboration fashion started in businesses, when there was a cost pressure, people started collaborating. Competitors were collaborating with each other, that share the cost, so that we can manage the cost. So collaboration is a need of the time now. You have to do that. Increase your raw material inventory. This is also important. This generally you don't do. Again, you have as per your requirement, but I'm sure many of you must be doing that. Your raw material inventory, because availability will become an issue. Who is going to be hit by this pandemic? You don't know. So you need to have, and also go for alternative arrangements. Like you have one supplier, look for other supplier also, or also alternative materials. There are many products in which a material, if you use, you can use alternative materials. Availability of that, you start working. Your R&D should work on that. Which are the alternative material, alternative suppliers, and try to do localization as much as possible, because you cannot access the whole world, because and you can manage locally easily than importing from somewhere, because you don't know which market opens when, closes when in such pandemic. Why I'm saying it, prepare yourself as such pandemic in future also, because if you do all these corrections in future, if something come, you will be in a better position than what you are at now. And the very, very important thing, control expense and cut losses. This is the time to work on that, because many things which you can afford in normal time, you can't. You see, traveling, many things you can do online. See, this course I'm doing it here. What we used to do, we used to have a classroom session. In classroom session, you have to come physically, and half of them will not come. So if 6-7 people are sitting there, online there will be 80-90 people connected, because there is a convenience. You are at home, this is Sunday, you are connected. So this is the new way of working, and this is an opportunity as well. And also it's environment friendly, because 90 people will not drive 90 cars, they're just sitting at home. So cut your cost. There are many costs in the company you can manage. Right now everybody is cutting costs by not eating out, not dining out. You're saving cost. I mean, you're managing cost. So go for simplification in the company, because this is the time you have to cut cost here to trade off somewhere else. I will just tell you, the cost saving drive should be in the company, and go for digitization as much as possible. This is the future. In US, all businesses are cutting down. There are 30 million joblessness after this pandemic in America. This is the latest, yesterday's data. And in that situation, Amazon is hiring people. 100,000 people have already been hired, and even then they are unable to meet the demand of the people. The people who used to get on a day, they are getting in a week. Why? Everybody's ordering online. And by ordering online, actually pressure started with this pandemic, because people were not going out. But this now showing them the convenience. So many of them will stick to that. And this online business will be growing. In any way, it was growing very fast. In say 2 years back, the data was double-digit growth, whereas traditional business was very, very 2%, 3% growth like that. So move towards online. There is a benefit. It's an opportunity, and we should grab this opportunity. Some important actions. This is a bit long-term objective. Care for employees, as this is a very difficult time for everybody. If you care for them, you get their trust. Don't be selfish at this stage. They need to be safe at work and at home. When they're at work, you should be careful with their SOPs. I know in automation, keeping distance is not a problem. Mask is okay, but keeping distance is possible, because very few people working on the line. But when it's a manual operation, keeping distance is a bit difficult. So you need to manage it. How to do it is important, because you have to take care of them and also guide them. How can be this safe at home? Cut your margin temporarily to survive and give back to consumer. Why I say that? This is the time, because your cost will be going up because of all these SOPs, other things, and there is a tendency to add it to product cost. Don't do that. temporarily your margin will be affected, but it's a long-term objective. Get your consumer trust, and this will give you a long-term relationship with your consumer. And in such situation, always remember, quality is affected because of the materials availability, because your erratic production plannings and all these things. Don't take a chance here. It's very important in such difficult time, maintain your quality, because you need to gain trust of your consumers while stabilizing your business. When you're stabilizing, don't go for the shortcuts and take chances with your consumers. It's a long-term relationship. Please manage that. This is I've seen in crisis. This is the tendency. Okay, fine, let's go with that, because we are also being hard hit with this pandemic. So it's okay. No, it's not okay. Long-term objective has to be in front of your eyes when you take such calls. So supply chain is entering into very, very challenging time, which is a bit uncertain, as in some cases things are not that clear. And supply chain leadership experience the toughest time, also in Pakistan. So what to do? We have to be more disciplined, open mind, urge to learn, and be creative, because there will be a lot of initiative and innovative way of working and creativity, and right leadership should be in place. Why I'm saying right leadership? Because this is the time, challenging time, and as I earlier said, leadership is tested in such time. So when you have such time in front of you, you have to support your team. You have to support your team, help them, motivate them, because you have to switch their gear to a survival mode. It's a different mindset. When you switch to a survival mode, you work in a different way. You are working not normal. So, but the team is going to work in that mode once the leadership is effective and taking the team in that mode. So this is something I need to share. And then, which is constant in all this thing, which doesn't change, is a change, which is always constant. And so much change happening now. So what you should do, be a change agent, bringing all this change in yourself, in your family, in your friends, and your company, and help yourself, others to do that, because change is a bit difficult to bring, and because people are, you can say, they develop the habit, and generally they don't want to change. But it's the perception of change people resist, not the change itself. So please help bring the change in your company and all across. So thank you very much. I've tried to be brief here so that we can take your questions, and I will wait for your questions, which as Anwar said, you can send your question to him and on chat box, and I will try to answer your question.
Thank you, Qaysar. I think you have touched base most of the supply chain issues, and definitely it will be very helpful for the newcomers and as well as the experienced people. I think so. We will go ahead and take time for questions now. Just a reminder, please be sure to type your question into the question box in your control panel. So I'm just waiting for the questions right now on the chat box. So we have to wait for some time, and I would say, Numan, if you have any question, to move on. You can ask, open up your mic, and just you can talk. Numan, can you hear me?
Assalamu alaikum. You talking to Numan Ali or Numan Lutfi?
Numan Lutfi, sorry.
Okay, Numan Ali, you can go ahead.
Is it Numan Ali?
No, Numan, you have a privilege because you're coming from outside Pakistan. You can go ahead, please.
No, Numan, you and Qaysar are my ex-bosses and my mentors and my leaders. So please, you continue. I'm here to listen.
Just to let you know, Numan is one of our speaker here, because He's just like acting as a backup of Qaysar, just in case if he goes offline. But alhamdulillah, all went very well. So Numan, you can just ask any question if you want online, on your mic.
Yeah, sure, I can. I think I can't be a backup of Qaysar because I can't put myself to shoes of Qaysar. It's difficult, but I'll try to. I think the Qaysar, the one of the important thing in these times is I gone through all your slides. I think it's very appropriate, and I must say, despite of all the physical things, just basically alternate suppliers, the stock holding, all that. I want that you to touch base a little more on the softer side, which is your strength as well. And because because I'm going through last 1.5 months in situation, and I see that if you connect with people, I just give you an example. Last week I have done a town hall with by using Microsoft Teams, and after that that town hall, the kind of response coming on the chat boxes, I feel that is a very small thing, that the 30 minutes town hall, but I feel that the teams are quietly cherished, happy, feeling thankful. So I just want to touch base this on this area. So because because all driven through the human, the people. So I just want you to spend a little few minutes more on this.
You see, I talked about that briefly, just care about your employees, what it means. See, when I said everybody's in lockdown, everybody is going through uncertainty, so there is a depression. A lot of articles coming on that, and depression affects your performance, your way of thinking about the end results. Sometimes you become careless, sometimes you are angry. So the leadership's role is to understand the phenomena. If some employee is not performing well, why he's not performing well? Is his skill, or is his internal feelings? And that connectivity, the care and support, when you give to the employee, he opens up. He shares. That's the thing, you need to have session with the people other than the work, other than the target, other than the timings, like what's the issue with you, how you're feeling in these days, because it's not normal in normal days. So everybody has problems. So you should, because everybody has a cash flow problem. You see, there are, not everybody is getting monthly salary. There are, you can say, if he is working, his brother might be, you can say, thrown out of the job. Somebody else in the family is going through the tough time. So it's all the feelings coming to him. So that is the time when leadership show their presence, and then putting their hands around their shoulders, that, okay, we are with you at this difficult time. And this is something I would say very, very important in such situation. When you are going through a tough time, even in the war, in the crisis, your team is always there. Any other question coming in on Anwaar?
Yeah, sure. One question from Saad Sheikh, which is related to the current topic. And he asks that from 1990 to 2020, the world saw changing working phases. So how do you see the working culture now onwards? Will we have all digital working culture, or will it be a mixed combination of old and new era?
You see, I recall my old days in 2009, when I started this online, you can say, work from home, and it was mandatory for people to work at least once a week. You can work from home. It was encouraging them, and that gradually expanded. But it restricted to somewhere. But now I'm seeing different articles here and there. This pandemic has taught people and the company that there is a benefit of working from home. Why? See, if in the current scenario, if you start working from the office, first thing, you have to keep distancing. You can't have close office. You need more space. And then if you can work from home, the benefit company gets, your home space is being used by the company free of cost. So instead of having a big area, they will have smaller area. And I know in some company, Holland, other places I've seen, they have only the workstation, not fixed workstation. So first come first basis, because they have kept their workstation 25% less than the total employee. They know because 25% has to work from home. So people will be changing. So they have kept free for all. So 25% not coming. So this will be increasing. Traveling will be less and less. You work through Zoom, like we are having this training session here. I just day before start, I had board meeting, 3 consecutive meetings on Zoom. Everybody, one guy was from Dubai and rest were from here. So this is going to increase because the benefit have been seen now. There's a cost saving, there is a time saving, the people's family life improves, and it has a very positive impact on the environment. Hope I have answered your question, Asad. Any other question?
Yeah. Some more questions for you. One is from Zishan Ahmed, and he asks, Assalamu alaikum. My question is to what about the industries which have non-essential item? Their supply chain is performing vice versa as compared to is an essential industry, as mentioned by you. So his main concern to you just shed some light on the supply chain of non-essential items. What kind of challenges they are facing right now, and how do they actually cope with it?
Yeah, what I said, it was not only for essential items, for everything. Non-essential, essential. You see, everything will pass through that, because everywhere you need workers, everywhere you need raw materials, everywhere you need a workplace to work, everywhere you need service. Even you see, this is food carriers. You see, or delivery. They are being affected because they were all not coming. Now they have started just now, and they have limited time to work, and accordingly you have to redefine your way of working. So everything will be affected. It's not with only essential or non-essential. Then if you have some specific some specific product is saying, we can talk about that if we come to know.
Perfect. Another question from Saeed Mustafa, your friend. It's more like a comment and a very small question in the end. So let me read out that question. So he said, the COVID has created a new world order and a new corporate lifestyle, as you already mentioned in your speech, working in a new way of consumerization. The existing supply chain will assume a new way of working, that is all ordering will replace retail business, etc. The conventional supply chain will be entirely changed with a very short. So what is your vision of future? So it's a question, I think.
You see, everybody is transforming right now. I just said, I gave them talked about Amazon. There's a lot of pressure coming on Amazon. There are many other online companies, they are coming active, and they are just improving their system. But you see, Amazon doesn't produce something. Amazon is just getting product from others. So there are companies who are providing, say, if Amazon is selling cell phones, the cell phone will be provided by Apple or say Samsung or somebody else. And they have a working methodology. So there, if there is a manufacturing system, so manufacturing system, what change will be required? Change will be quick shift, quick demand meeting the demand. Like, if Amazon is asking for all the variants, all the type today or tomorrow, factory has to be flexible. The flexibility will be something demanded from all the companies and say manufacturing other places. Similarly, the logistics. You, Anwar, you are in logistics. There will be a lot of demand that you should provide this thing quickly, and you don't have the full truckload. What you will do? You have to find innovative way to get it to the consumer. A mixed load, whatever it may be, you have to do that. So the pressure will be coming on logistics. Pressure will be coming on manufacturing, because online demand is compressing the time all across. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the next question is from, I don't know, ABC. I do not know his name. So whoever is, So his question is, what's the view on the logistics companies? How difficult it is to move containers into and out of Pakistan? He's like concerned about the demurrage charges and the detention charges at the destination port. So he would like to know about it. So what's your opinion about it? How to tackle those challenges of paying extra detention charges and damage charges at destination ports in case of export or in case of import? Of course, the buyer has to bear all this stuff.
See, if I show you a picture of all the tankers spread all across the sea in the world carrying crude oil, do you know per day charges is $30,000? So now in between, there was a time when oil was selling for negative, that you please take the oil and I will pay you this one, because you were paying the damage charges. So it is something which has come in. It's not going to be there, but it's there. You can't help it. If some your things is somewhere there and it's not working, what you will do? You have to bear that cost. It's not only there. It's here also in Pakistan happening. You see, all the shops which are closed with the stocks inside. What about them? Employees are sitting home, shop is closed, stock is inside, and it's almost 2 months. What has happened to them? They'll all ground zero. When they open up, what will happen? So everybody is in the same boat. This is the time where big companies have been dislodged. What about these airline companies, hotel business, restaurant business, oil businesses, insurance business, banks? What's happening to them? There is a natural downfall is happening when there's a 30 million jobs in the US jobless now. So what do you expect? So this is a difficult time. This is a crisis time where I said, try to save cost, go for simplification, try to be efficient, connect with your employee so that they give you more than what they're doing now. This is my answer to this.
And just to add a little, in your comment, a lot of shipping lines and of course the port authorities has extended this free time, So yeah, I think they also played their role very well, just to ease out the importer and the exporter, all together. So yeah, I think everyone has to take the responsibility and behave the same way. The next,
what is the next?
The next question is about Abid Hussain asks the same question. I think you already answered that. What is your observation regarding port damages and container detention charges? So I think I already explained that shipping line has already extended this offer. They extended the free time for the importers, and port also extended the free time for the containers lying in the container yards. So that's already been answered. The second, the Ajmal Khan has asked this question. As certainty is uncertain in view of current situation, how can we effectively manage relationship with supplier in such condition, where no procurement exists, means no cash flow, no profit, not even break even? So he's from Park Suzuki.
Yeah, you see, this is very common all across. Your supplier going through the same problem as you. So in supplier relationship, in normal days also, you have a long-term relationship and short-term relationship also. Long-term relationship has a trade-off. You have to take care of a supplier and supplier take care of you. You should not go one way. So in difficult time, you apply the same principle. Like if supplier is not there, can't bring down the cost or have a supply issue, so you have to support him. Instead of that, or fire him and get another supplier, it is not the right way to do it. Your relationship is a long-term relationship you need to manage in rough time. This is a rough time. You will have difficult time, and then your supplier will support you. So when there's a difficult time, you should also support your supplier. This I can say because this happens with the supplier thing. Okay.
I do not see any question as of now in the post
Okay
chat
then.
window. So So we have 5 minutes to wrap up. Can you just give your closing remarks?
Yeah, you see, we used to do all supply chain talk, and where you invited people, it was in inviting people, and people used to come and arranging in a physically in a area. Now we're doing everything virtual. I loved it. The way things are happening, everybody's sitting at home. It's Sunday midday. You see, you can't imagine bringing people and listen to your talk on Sunday. But Sunday is very people are deliberately they are sitting there. They're listening to you. So it's I see a lot of you see. We only don't see the weak areas, the difficult areas. Okay, fine. This pandemic has brought us to some, you can say, uncertainties and bad things. But there are opportunities. This is one of the opportunity I see. Online connectivity will solve many issues, like your time, days. You can talk in the night also, like 9 p.m. if you want to talk. If people agree, we can do that because you are sitting in at home. Its convenience is this, and you can connect to anybody in Lahore, in Dubai. Like right now, somebody is connected to Dubai. The Dubai guy can't travel to listen to talk here. So this is something we can bring a speaker from other countries. Like we can connect to Canada, US, somewhere. So it's a big opportunity. I'm seeing this online, moving towards online connectivity with our people. The Supply Chain Association, as we started our journey, this is a new era for us on online. So let's do it more and more and go for the training session, go for panel discussions, and we will have that and people will get benefit more and more now on this new way of working. This is my optic today from this supply chain talk.
Perfect. So I've got few questions. I think we will answer it later. As I already mentioned in my opening that we will share a kind of summary of Q&A and we will send it to all of you via email.
How many questions you have got right now?
2 or 3. Yeah.
Take one or two. We can answer 1 or 2 instead of just keeping it like that because we have 2 minutes left.
So one is very generic question, and Saad asks about so what do you see the future of Pakistan in all means? So that I can answer, it's bright.
No, you are very right. And there is a strong logic behind that. And
yeah.
Our weaknesses has gone for our strength. Do you know why I say that? In the Western world, developed world, they have, they take house on mortgage. There's no mortgage in Pakistan. You buy in cash. So in such cases, there is no hue and cry. Secondly, the export business all over the world affected. We had very small export. So what loss we will have. So we'll start again from ground zero. Tourism. All tourism will be affected badly all over the world. They have big tourism. We didn't have tourism. We wanted to improve. So we are there. We haven't changed. We are there. So we can start from there. And poverty. The people with very high earnings have going down. But in our case, our 30-40% people were below poverty level. So what further they will go down. So things, it looks like Pakistan will move faster in the progressive journey. In this pandemic will help us to do that. This is my view on this.
I think perfect. So last question, which is very interesting, by the way. So so the Tausif asked this question: the future of food industry with regard to supply chain. So how food business can be more beneficial to people. So it's
no, with this pandemic or
during this pandemic and of course post pandemic scenario.
See, now we will be more online business. You don't have to go to the restaurant to eat, so you can order online. So it will coming more and more towards home, and you will see many good players coming in because to open a restaurant and other things there is a cost. But delivery business is I know many people, they are just doing at home and they hire somebody to deliver, or through Food Panda they can do it. So more food businesses, small businesses will coming in, and habits of eating at home will increase more and more. So food business in any case, like country like Pakistan, is always an opportunity, because we are very, very you can say not developed that much as compared to developed countries, where food business, eating habits are much higher than we do. And as we grow, it's also a question of money in your pocket. So we have less money in pockets, so that's why we didn't go out to eat. But as we improve, as we grow, this will be a growth journey. Not only food business, all consumer goods.
Assalamualaikum, Anwar Sahab. It's me,
Yes.
Abid Hussain. Kindly give the answer of my questions.
Yeah, I think Abid has a question.
Commercial importers.
Yeah, exactly. So let me ask this question, although I already answered it. His question is, says something about the commercial importer who are importing intermediate goods for industries, and now all industries are closed. So there are a lot of consignments are stuck in the port, and they do not have fund to releasing those documents and shipment from, of course, documents from bank. So what's your take on it?
Kindly discuss the policy matter.
Yeah, sure, Abisab, please.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes.
you got the question, Qaysar?
I got the question, but this question is regarding the government policies. What government?
Yes, of course.
See, right now we are not in a position to speak out. I'm seeing some initiative from the government that they are trying to help out those business people, and trying to pump money on that to help out. And these money should go. This 1.2 trillion in that, I think 400-500 billion rupees is for that purpose, helping the business people. So what help? These are the help. Like if you have your cash flow issue, because this is a cash flow issue and you're stuck up and you can't pay. These are things I think, but when it is coming in, they have already announced, but I can't say for sure. And Anwar, if you have some news on that, please speak on this.
I think government already announced the financial stimulus packages and of course their bailout packages. But of course they are doing their best with limited resources, and they encourage a lot of businesses not to lay off their employees, and State Bank has offered the loan on a very concession rates, just to paying off their salaries. But of course, like government cannot help anyone 100%, of course, giving all the money to run their business. But yes, they can help. As I already mentioned that the port authorities had extended this offer to extend the free time. Shipping line has also extended the free time just to help the importer. And yes, but if somebody has already imported some food stuff and it's at the port right now, so it has to be cleared, of course, the business risks, and one has to keep this thing in mind all the time, that this is called a contingency planning. We talk about the business continuity planning and contingency planning, so it's all about this. So
thank you very much, and see you soon.
Yeah, so thank you, Qaysar, for this wonderful session. As you said, it's the first session of SCAP
And
online
I would
session.
like to get the feedback how it went from
Yeah,
all of
definitely.
you,
We will
also
arrange,
from
inshallah.
and the participants also.
Perfect. So great. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. Please stay in touch as we have some exciting e-learning plans.
Goodbye.
And soon it will be roll out. So thanks again for joining us today, and we will see you next time. So
And I
stay
have to-
safe, stay
and I have to
home,
wait till
and
after-
Ramadan Kareem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Thank
thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz to everybody.
Obviously.